Good afternoon and welcome back to day three, Saicon Kerala 2020. I'm Reti Krishna, Sai Kerala Charter member. Just a quick note for viewers. Please don't forget to visit the networking lounge to post your question to speakers and network with experts. Just a quick note so that you don't forget that. And our first panel discussion for the day is on the tourism sector. The topic is God's own country, awakening to a new dawn of tourism post-COVID. Please help me welcome the moderator for this panel discussion, Anandamani K. Anandamani is a managing director of She Interiors since 1998 and is a civil engineer by profession. She Interiors focuses on the tourism industry, specializing in designing world-class hotels and resorts in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, apart from, of course, designing residential and office interiors. He's also a Thai Kerala Charter member. And on a personal note, he's one of the most organized people I've ever had the fortune to meet. Over to you, Anandamani, for the panel discussion on tourism sector.
Thank you, Rasmi, for all those nice words, and welcome to all of you for the sector track on tourism. God's own country, awakening to a new dawn of tourism post-COVID. The panelists for this day are Rasmi Poduval, the co-founder of SeamStress and Cranganor History Café and Riverside Chateau. Maneesha Panicker, founder of Silk Route Escapes. Mrinal Das Vengalat, the food blogger and management consultant. Mr. George Joseph, GM of Casino Hotel and CGF Earth Experience Hotels. I'll just give a one or two line brief regarding all the four, and then we'll straight away go into the session. Rashmi, an alumna of IIM Bangalore, started a career with Coca-Cola and moved on to Saregama before starting her own clothing label, SeamStress, in the hand-woven sustainable space. She found Cranganor, a theme resort rooted in Kerala's rich history. The Kaithari project describes the Kaithari project as a revival of Kerala's weaving tradition and clothing taste. Maneesha Panicker completed a master's degree in industrial engineering from Pennsylvania State University, moved to New York to pursue a career in fashion and management, but while in America, a love for India and her passion for travel led her to create Silk Route Escapes, an experiential travel company specializing in immersing travel through lush Kerala and India. Mr. George Joseph, after completing his schooling from Lawrence School, Loudale, and because of his passion for hospitality industry, pursued a degree in hotel management from IHMA, affiliated to the Taj Group of Hotels, and after graduating, experienced as a part of the opening team of Grand Central ITC in Mumbai, and then decided to join the family business to learn, grow, and contribute to the CGH40 sustainable tourism. He has 13 years of experience in different positions in the group and is currently heading the Casino Hotel in Cochin with additional responsibilities of business development of CGH Earth. Mr. Mrinal Das, a management consultant who hails from Udiur village in Kerala's Kannur district. There is hardly any town in Kerala which Mrinal hasn't explored. The blogger enters any eatery with a selfie, video cam, and a hungry gourmet's belly. Mrinal runs an international consultancy company that advises the restaurants and canteens in setting up unique food culture of their own. Named HMC Limited in Middle East and Vengalat in India, Mrinal's Food Kingdom designs and manufactures customized food for eateries. His work spans from planning low-weight, compressed food packages for cargo ship employees that last for over 1 year to set up a posh Italian food court with luxury ambience and authentic recipes. Welcome to you all. So we'll go straight away with the first question, which is common to all four of you. You all can answer individually. Let's start with a common question to which everybody needs to answer in a line or two. How has COVID experience been? How has it hit big to you all? And what are your sentiments? Rashmi, you may go first.
Hi, everyone. I think sir has given a introduction, so I don't need to do anything more. COVID has hit us all. How do you say this? It's been a cathartic experience, but it's nothing short of war. I feel sometimes what we're all going through. But having said that, I think as Keralites, been through some really devastating experiences like the floods of 2018. So for us, it's it's something that we can overcome. Initially, we were struck quite hard, not sure what to do. Everyone was left reeling and grappling, unsure about what the next step should be. But we've managed to clamber back, find our way back. We've reopened. We have reopened. The village is back in action, and we are sort of finding our footsteps, baby footsteps, back in. So we've sort of reinvented ourselves because we've realized that the new normal, the new way of living, is completely different from the way people used to holiday before. They're looking for a safe space. They're looking for a place from which they can continue their life, but but say in a safe environment, in a friend's house, in a more picturesque location, and of course that everyone is working. That's the new normal. If there's a family of four, then all four people are attending classes or working. So one has to adhere to that sort of a requirement. We've tried to step up and get there, but so far so good.
Okay, thank you. Mr. George, your version?
Yeah, good evening. So for CGH, with our hotels going with our occupancy was mainly with the inbound. Now what has happened was inbound was a full stop. It actually stopped. And with CGH, the entire holidaying came to a halt, and that became a huge issue for us financially. For our staff, we have to cater to. We had about 1,000 plus staff which we need to address. So that became a huge issue for us. But this period actually showed the community of the industry of which, for example, I'm talking about CGH. Our industry, our community of CGH, the staff was patient and they understood. So there's a big understanding. Their commitment levels of each staff is huge. And I think I have huge respect after seeing, because everybody was in shelters with no income from top to bottom. Having said that, they were all said they were with us. And from day one till now, we promised them that for us, this year is only survival and revival, nothing more. And they've been part of our journey with us. So once the hotel industry started in Kerala, we saw a little bit of relief coming. And then whatever we have managed to bring into the table was actually shown as a respect to all staff in terms of their salary levels. Now the recruitments have started back because the demand of the rooms have started to increase, especially in the weekends. Kerala is moving right now. They want a holiday. They've had enough of lockdown period for the past 8 months. Now they want to move out. They want to experience holiday. Knowing the fact our age demography is also changed because of the situation, the young and the elders are a little more careful. For CJ, it was mainly the older generation which was using our hotels during the season, but that is a huge shift. So due to that shift, we are seeing a lot of product differentiation, not with the concept and the core value, but in the delivery, how we have to foresee each customer coming to us, how they perceive their holiday is very different. So now we are actually reprogramming ourselves in terms of how to attain the best. And there's a lot of learning also in terms of efficiency, in terms of catering to a different market. It's been a huge learning for us, in fact, during this period. Otherwise, the industry, for us, the hotel industry, we've been having the same formulas being put forward. But then moving forward, maybe we may not go back to the pre-COVID, some of the, the management styles, which we have somehow, we hopefully will sustain in terms of both marketing and selling. It's a big opening for us. So though it was been a bad time, a totally bad time for the group, it has opened a lot of other revenues, a lot of other market that we need to focus on, and not once it is back to normal, it's not that we are going to go back to the old, but I think with the new learning, we will also continue. And it is, I think that way forward will be to take each step, learn each step, and then take it forward.
Thank you, John. That's a really good explanation. Mr. Mrinal, can I have your thoughts, please, with respect to the food?
Yeah, when there is a crisis, it's consultancy business boom. They boom. So what we had was lots of inquiries. We had to turn at least 95% of the inquiries down because it was sudden and unplanned. We had to increase our fee by about 100% to keep clients away from us. But execution part is difficult. For example, when you build a restaurant or a hotel or anything, you need materials and you need manpower, you need resources, and moving resources, mobilizing resources, very difficult. It was really difficult. Now it's been we are getting used to it, and we can do that comparatively easily these days. So that's one part of my business. And as far as food is concerned, no one cares, because I think when you keep people away from something for a very long time, they don't listen to you anymore. They don't listen to even the Prime Minister of this country, because they don't think that keeping them away from everything will solve the problem. So everybody's back to usual tea shops to five-star hotels. In fact, I was with Marriott Kochi. I was staying at Marriott Kochi on the Diwali weekend, and I received a note from the GM saying that I had to reserve for the breakfast next morning, because the hotel is so fully packed that you can't just walk in and have the breakfast. So I was like, I've been staying with these hotels since June because of my work style. I have to move from one city to another, so I stay at hotels. Even now, I'm at a hotel. Previously, I was the only person in Crown Plaza or even anywhere, Le Meridien. I was kind of the only person having breakfast. And some hotels even said that you're the only guest here. That was Tamara in Tiruvandhuram. They said that you're the only guest here. We are open just for you. That was in July, I think. Now it's kind of back to normal. Food, as far as food is concerned, it's more than back to normal. So that's what I think.
Okay, that's another fairly good explanation. Maneesha, can you just step in and just give a quick two-line reply to the question?
Yes. So I have two businesses. One is the travel company and then the four-room hotel. So my experience was when sometime around the beginning of the year, we started to hear about COVID, and a lot of our clients that were coming in, we were just abreast with all of the rules and regulations. But mid-March, I was on a recce trip through Karnataka, is when the Janta curfew was going to be announced. And so I was traveling from Badami, Hassan, and into Chikmagalur in Kerala. And as I started to travel, I noticed that most of the hotels started to shut down. And so we had to kind of rush through Karnataka to enter Kerala to come back into Kochi. So I had never experienced that. The other thing was we had a whole, we were running houseful at our four-room hotel on the island. And just when COVID was happening and things were about to shut down, the village was going on a protest, asking us to shut down our hotel because they were afraid that foreign tourists were bringing COVID. So on one level, we had to handle that. And almost within a week, the Indian government closed borders, and we had lots of clients on the ground within India and also at the hotel that we had to ship, send back to their home country. So that was also really challenging. And that's the first time in my history that I've had that experience where we had guests and we were shipping them out. We didn't know what to do. But of course, I think Kerala government gave us some guidelines on what to do. And then, of course, we went into this extended lockdown for 3-4 months. I couldn't get to my hotel. My staff couldn't get to my hotel. yeah, so that's my experience of what I faced. But slowly now Kerala is opened. We've started to see Indian travelers. Both our businesses are 90% international travelers. So for about 9 months, we had no business. And in December, we've started to see things pick up. So as a travel entrepreneur, something like COVID is really devastating. Like, because it almost immediately like stops travel. And like Rashmi was saying, it's like war, but without war.
Okay.
So that was my experience.
Okay. Very good reply, Sil, once again. So back to Rashmi, what I wish to ask is, what is the one thing you still believe, despite facing many odds, that still keeps you positively inspired and you feel that you can still awaken to the new dawn of tourism? Are you on mute? Are you on mute?
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I can hear you.
What is that one thing that is inspiring? I think the people, I think more than anything else, it's the people that inspires you to me to go on. Like for example, like Maneesha was saying, we also have two businesses. One is the Kaitari business where we work with the weavers, and the other is Cranganor. And at the time that we shut down, both the businesses were completely choked. And the way people rallied together, everyone, the chef and we had just the Kaitri business that was running at that point in time, how everyone doubled up and did everything, and how the village swung into action. You want to be, for these people, you want to get back on track for the faith they placed in you, uh, for the complete and utter belief they have that you will get back on track and you will do what it takes to get back to normal, or get back to the new normal. That's the one thing that I believe is absolutely the greatest inspiration. And that's what we, even pre-COVID, the stories we would tell about Cranganore, the reason people would come and visit is the people, the village. We are in a village, the village is inside us, and that simple village life is what we always, is what we sort of try to chronicle, that our journey, their journey, people, faces. And that's what will still bring people back. I think that, that warmth of that face, the the experience of knowing that person, who's like you're going to a friend's house, and that friend's house is made a house is made a home by the people around you. And in our case, it's the village. In Kerala's case, it's the village. It's all the faces around you, all those, the fishermen, the chechi who's cooking in the kitchen, the lady who's doing the housekeeping, the tailor who's stitching my clothes. It's all of these people. It's for them, that theirs is the most inspiring journey, I feel. And for them, I think we owe it to them to get back on track.
Okay, that's a very good reply. Okay, Mr. George, what are your goals now, since that you are now the man as the next gen in CGH, by awakening to the new dawn of tourism in this God's own country post-COVID? What are your new goals? Can you just elaborate?
Well, our goal would be, see, now we are seeing a huge surge in inquiries coming in. Now we need to be prepared, and then during this time, what has actually made us do is to prepare with the pandemic, how to do the operations with keeping the safety of the customers at the priority. So keeping a balance of giving that safety and the experience is a new normal, which is going to be in all the hotels, in fact. Now, to achieve that is not very simple. So we'll have to go in detail on how, just not from the guest front, even from the staff front, from how they manage in all these hotels, how they operate to secure the guest. And from that to how to reach out to our AIT, which is the Alert Independent Travelers, who is still seeking for the responsible travel into Kerala. Earlier, it was the inbound, the international travel we predominantly had, who was seeking for those. But then the domestic of India was traveling abroad. Now, we need to bring them, we need to show them of Kerala about our experiences that we can show. And there are the customers of India who was aware is seeking for such holiday. And more we have seen domestic travel is who are choosing us. When they come to us, they find a match to what they want. And that is only ensuring us that, yes, more and more the responsible tourism is also going to shine during these times, keeping our operations very safe. will be our way forward to make sure that in terms of our group of hotels will come out of this situation.
Mr. Mrinal, just tell me in a line or two, what actually led you, what is the actual purpose of your passion, your motivating factor, and what made you opt for it? Did you turn into food blogging by circumstances or by a choice?
In 2018, no, 2017, 18, I realized that I can't eat money. So I thought I should do something else. And of course, money is required, because if you want to stay in a particular place, you need to pay for it. You need to pay for food. So money is required. But when you realize that you can't eat money, you can't have pleasure from money, the actual joy. And there are simple things in life which can be only seen by traveling to distant lands, and put yourself far away, really far away from your comfort zone. Then I started traveling in 2018, 2017, 18, 19. 17 and 18, I stacked up more than 200,000 miles in my airline accounts. So that really helped me find happiness. When you're in Dubai, I've been living in Dubai since 2012. When you're in Dubai, it's a very small place. People think that it's a big city. It's not really big. When you stay there for 8 years, you realize that you know almost everyone. You see them at a coffee shop or anywhere. So, but from that comfort zone, when you go to Hong Kong and you're in a place where no one really speaks English on a street, and you don't really know the food, and you find a place called Australian Dairy Company, and you go there, and their star attraction is just a bread. So you're like, this is very different. So I started learning from these things, and when you go to Honolulu, they just dig a pit and bury a pig in it with some hot stones, and after a day or two, that's a delicious meal. So that's very different from the pork curry you get from Angamali, or the pork curry you get from Idaki. So that's these sort of learning, and the smile on people's learning is very different, but the smile on people's face across the globe is the same. When they smile, they're same. When Donald Trump is as same as me when we smile. So the whole point is, when you realize that you just live for a smile on your face, not for money, not for somebody to call you a great man, then everything changes. So you can quit your job. Even in 2021, I've been not accepting a single client since last 3 months. I'm preparing for 2021. I'm going to finish all the commitments by Jan 2021, and I'm going to disappear for a year. Yeah. I can't hear you.
You're going to disappear for a year from 2020. You are no way available. Okay.
Maybe more than a year.
Okay. So over to Maneesha. When I was talking to you to invite you for this session, you had mentioned to me a couple of grievances and your anxiety regarding many factors what you're facing. So what are the major issues you feel that needs to be addressed for the betterment of tourism post-COVID? In a brief, can you reply?
Yeah, so I think being a travel entrepreneur in Kerala, we've in the last few years have faced a few challenges. So there was Kerala floods, there was Nipah, and now there's COVID. But what I found with COVID is that for about 9 months, people weren't allowed to, or 5, 6 months, people weren't allowed to travel. So there was no traveler coming to you. So you have all these resources, you have a team, you have a hotel that you've built, and people can't get to you. So that was a real challenge. And now being able to get back in business, I think international flights, may take another month or so for it to really pick up, and are people willing to travel after COVID? So those are concerns in our mind, but we had to kind of shift and turn towards the Indian market. We shifted to the Kerala market. There's loads of people within Kerala that are traveling. But the initial few months, we just sort of just let everything happen. We slowed down. We just kind of gave in, and that's very difficult. I mean, as a type A personality and as an entrepreneur who's always doing things, the first few months of COVID was quite tough. But going forward, I think it's given us a lot of ideas on how to, diversify, how to gather new clients, how to have a mixed base, how to be really agile. So shift your team around, move them to do something else, or keep your team engaged while COVID's happening. So yeah, those are things I learned in this process.
Okay. Rashmi, how different was this experience from the world of other earlier job experience you were with? And what's next for you in your career, friend, in tourism, especially post-COVID?
Oh, this is very different from my career in Coke and Sarigama, where we lived a structured existence, uh, 9 to 5, 9 to 9, really, not even 9 to 5, to this tiny, sleepy little village that we came in 2017, became part of the village, and just setting up this place from scratch, setting our dream project all the way up from scratch. It's been an eye-opening journey. I don't think that any amount of holidaying would have given us this experience of would have given us this level of learning, or the kids for that matter. And what I see next happening in the tourism world is that, see, we are all learning as we go along. What I find very interesting about this post-COVID world is that it's just undone. Everything that you knew till now is completely undone. It's a level playing field now, and you're learning as you go along. There are no marketing studies that you can fall back on to do your extensive research and say this is going to work and this is not going to work, because nobody knows anything. It's gut feeling, instinct. You experiment, you succeed, great. You fail, pivot, do the next best thing. So our own personal experience with both SeamStress and Cranganor has been that it's been depressing at first when you wake up, and mm, insights with respect to travel has been that people aren't really looking for these, let's say, life-changing experiences. Like, while earlier travel would have been something that you're looking for a life-altering experience, or you're looking to be wowed, you're looking to be amazed. That's not so much the case right now. It's almost like a balance of um, vacationing from a home, in a safe environment, in a place where you feel comforted, where you feel safe, but at the same time, it's beautiful, it's picturesque, it's different from the way that you're used to living your life. But at the same time, it's not intimidating. It isn't a crowded monument that you're going to visit, or a crowded festival that you're going to visit. None of those things, all those things are out of the window. So, which also means that all these awe-inspiring experiences are also out of the window. It's the everyday experiences. It's the little tiny daily experiences. Maybe sitting with a fisherman on his boat. Maybe uh, mm, uh, watching, maybe going to a village market, watching from slightly afar. Everyday small daily experiences. Watching
You got mute, you got mute, you got muted.
city is what I feel, and everyone's there's been like a reboot button. So people are well and truly grateful for what they have, and there's an acceptance that, thank yes, I am unhappy about the things that have gone wrong in my life, but I'm also extremely grateful for the things that are right in my life. And from a traveler perspective, the small joys, the safety, the simplicity, people, those are the things that matters. So I think that's the way forward for us. Tell your stories and make them simple. I think simplicity is the key here.
Okay, good reply. So, Mr. George, tell us what you think that would be the key trends in tourism that startups in tourism should watch out for so as to awaken in the post-COVID world.
Well, some of the trends, I think what I believe is going to be, because now that India started to move, especially in the age group, is not the elders or not young, not too young. The age that we see, which is coming, at least what we've seen, is between the 20s to 50s, which is traveling. Now they're ready to take a flight, they're traveling. So it's about, like, I agree a lot what Rashmi said, is the story. And earlier we think that being domestic, we always put them in a different basket. Well, they want to know the story. They want to come and look at what each destination where they're traveling to. It's not about the hotel. It's about the community. It's about the extras that which will take back as memory. It's never the built-up space which is going to be their memory to take back after the holiday. It's going to be the story. It's going to be how you experience the destination, the local destination, how they're going to engage within the destination. And that's what's going to carry their own memory back when they go home. And they remember the destination and the hotel because of that. So the trend, maybe these are few things which we've seen over the past years. We had put our core values as being in the community, engage with the customers, being eco-friendly. These were the factors that CGH was always running in. And we find more and more the trend moving towards that kind of people aspire to go to a destination which is a little more responsible. I think responsible travel is one of our new cool thing which every youngster will consider when they travel. Yes, you will get the I wouldn't say non, but then the number of responsible travelers is evidently growing. And the reason why I would like to say that is because the number of domestic travel who appreciates or who are in sync is growing every month. When we do an analysis, we find that they are more appreciative in India, because earlier it was inbound. Maybe that market we were not new. I mean, this market we are very new. But at the same time, when we had the domestic, we used to get a mixed bag. This responsible travel is, I think, the ultimate. Under responsible travel, there's a lot of concepts. I mean, one is the community, one is each one's how they holiday. So there's a lot to go into the detail. But then in a gist, biggest trend is, I think, responsible tourism. The community where you're going to engage with is what I feel. And definitely the staff who are with you, they are they are in your journey, and they, for the guests, they would like to be hearing stories about the hotel staff also, which is not about the hotel, but then where they're coming from, because most of the people that we engage with is from the local community. So that will again enhance the experience. So I think the young who are traveling right now is looking forward for a responsible tourism, which is the bigger overall manner.
Okay, good reply. Mr. Mrinal, having traveled across all over the world and a number of places, can you memorize a scene which has still got a deep-rooted influence in your mind even now, so that in the eventuality of you entering into an entrepreneurship in food sector, what would you feel to replicate in Kerala with respect to your deep-rooted mind?
I was on a flight from Mumbai to London, and when you take off from Mumbai, if you look out, you see the slums. So, and in London, if you go to East Ham, where you get in 2008, 9, 10, if you want curry leaves, if you want banana leaves, if you want anything Indian, very, very particularly Indian, you have to go to East Ham and such places. It's not very different from slums. It's the same story in New York, Los Angeles, same story in Delhi, Nai Delhi, Purani Delhi. So in every city, there are two types of people. They don't even know each other. So, in my opinion, when a restaurant is built, it's for everyone. I mean, yeah, you're building a restaurant. There is somebody who comes in with a 100 rupee note and look for a meal for 100 rupee. So they may order a meal or something within 100 rupee. There is someone else who tips 100 rupees. Dine in for some money and tips more than 100 rupees. So that's one thing you get to learn when you travel. So when we build restaurants, we look at a broader spectrum now. There are very different people. And when I was talking to a very serious politician in the country about 3 months ago, he told me that, the middle class, they used to have the liberty to spend some money on anything, maybe buying a car, maybe buying food, maybe building a home. But now they have a financial crunch. But their false prestige won't allow them to tell everyone that, I have certain financial trouble. Because, there is a false prestige within the middle class mind. So we even consider them. We price things. When we develop a product for a menu, we consider all these things. Very different people, very different mindset, very different background. So we consider to include everyone. So now the menus are very inclusive. Previously, we consider classes, upper class, lower class, middle class. Now it's inclusive. COVID is it's a teacher. It's a very difficult teacher, but it's a teacher.
So that is one of the best learning. COVID is a teacher. Okay, that's a very good phrase. COVID is a teacher for in all segments, especially in tourism. So one common question to both Rasmi and Maneesha: there is a perception that women may not be able to handle the pulls and pressures of being in tough assignments in tourism. But you both have proved that this is not true. You both have done exceedingly well. What is a message to the prospective women entrepreneurs in tourism, such that what are the basic points they need to keep in mind before starting up in the post-COVID world? Rashmi, you go first.
Okay, well, I think that's a question you shouldn't have asked, sir, because I can write a small essay on this right now.
We don't
Okay.
have time.
Okay, I'm just rubbing my hands. Okay, sir. So it doesn't matter post-COVID, pre-COVID. Let's just say that the very fact that this question has been asked to us, which means that there's some sort of issue that we need to address. So I have 2 kids, and as I started work, what you're saying is true. Let's just assume for a fact that we're not talking about what do you say, inequalities. How did I start working? You don't have a structure. You can't go to office and say that, you know what, my kid is sick, so let us sit right over here and then we continue with the presentation. So that's probably one of the reasons that I looked at a kind of job that would give me flexibility to manage my children, where you want to do the best that you can by both roles. So when I started Kaitari project, I used to take my children traveling along with me to the looms. So my child used to be under the loom while me and the weavers would chat about what yarn to use. When we moved to Cranganor over here, we brought our children along because we wanted them to experience all of this, because otherwise in a city you are sort of just living this, what do you say, this boxed existence where you don't really know, you don't get your feet wet, you don't get your hands dirty, and then you just sit, everything is an order away. And in the post-COVID world, that software has also has sort of advanced to such a thing that you don't even need to leave your house at all for months together, which is a great thing. But what are you really bringing up? What's the next generation going to look like is a larger question. For women specifically, there's nothing you can't do. There's absolutely nothing that women can't do once they put their mind to it. I don't think gender comes into it. What comes into it is vision, ambition, and hard work, grit, and never give up. Absolutely, never give up. And that's just about it. It's a lesson that's true for everyone, not just men, not women, for children. Uh, when you're bringing up your children, you don't make any difference between a boy and a girl. So similarly, there's just absolutely no difference here. Just go out there and kick ass. Sorry.
Oh, that's a very focused reply. Okay. Maneesha?
Yeah. So my experience was, when I was building Kyle, I had no experience in construction. I had no experience with union workers. But when I started to take things by boat, like brick and sand and everything to the island and started to build the hotel, I had a bunch of workers who would be off to the side and they wouldn't want to talk. They wouldn't want to take instructions or talk to me. So I went up to them and I was like, what is the matter? Why aren't you listening? Why aren't you doing things? So they're like, Sar evade, Sar evade. So essentially they were thinking that there is going to be a man who's going to come into the project and they're going to just listen to the Sar and not me. So I had to tell them, no, ഞാൻ തന്നെയാ സാറ്, and we need to we have to figure out how to work together. So that was a little bit of a barrier that you face. And you face the same barriers. I face the same barriers when I go to the panchayat or I go to the bank or I go anywhere because they think, oh, there's a woman or there's a young woman who maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about. But it's just that initial thing, and you break that ice, and then they know you're capable. Then it's fine. But I think, despite those challenges, if you're passionate about something, we should totally go for it. And also, I feel women are really particularly suited for hospitality. We are quite welcoming. We know how to have the house done or the meals. We know what intuitively we know what people want. So I think women. Hospitality is a really good field for women, I think. I mean, any field is good for women, but I feel particularly hospitality and the kinds of sensibilities I came in with made it easier that I was a woman. In some aspects, it was more difficult. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Yeah. And
That's
Kerala, I think, is especially easier for women. If you think about starting, say, something in Bihar or Jharkhand or some other place, I feel Kerala is absolutely very friendly for women to start businesses.
That's another confidence building reply to the women entrepreneurs who are sitting out over there here, if any. Okay. So, Mr. George, I'm clubbing two questions to you together. In the 13 years of your association with CGH, what is the most important lesson you have learned so far? Question number one. And second one, what advice did you get from your father before you ventured into this assignment?
Well, see, my biggest learning was to undo my learning of my hotel school. I mean, the kind of product that we had from my education, what we've been. So there's different ways of how it has been in the industry, different style, different concepts. So I found myself, my experience, what I gathered, though the technical was still used, but then there's a lot of things which has been perceived in the hotel industry. Is not really that. It's not the same. That it is little more the approach within the system, the hierarchical differences. It was a huge difference what I saw out here, and I think that's the new way of. In fact, organizations move towards a little more friendlier hierarchical system where earlier maybe in the hotel industry it was a little different, to be frank. But then now I hear it is everywhere. There is a change. Apart from that, the responsible travel, like I say that often because we've been embedded with every step is what we take is with the background of, are we doing it right? Is this the right thing that we should do for the community, for the staff? So all that matters. So that became the thinking, how we program our thinking became with that in the background for every step. So that is also another huge learning that we took. In fact, it's not just about efficiency. It's not just about the bottom line. It's how you gain that with a with keeping the community with you and the staff. Community, I mean the staff and the local. So that became a huge learning for me. I mean, initially we had I had a lot of differences because my learning was elsewhere. And then why do you have to think like that? But then it made me understand that, yes, this community is so important. And especially in the tourism sector, wherever we are going, whichever location, sensitive location, the biggest support and the biggest learning is from the community. And that became a huge adaptation to my operation, that yes, this cannot be ignored, though it was considered, or it was not considered earlier, but we need to put that in mind as well. And if you ask me, what did my dad tell me? I mean, his practice was my learning. The observation, what he was doing with his company, was mainly our learning. He never told us you have to do this and that. It was, I mean, I don't think he will still tell me what you should do and what you should not do. But then he's shown ways which the company has grown, and then seen the examples of, and then it is up to us to basically take that way forward. So the lot of learnings. I mean, all that is because the families were believed in this concept, and that made a lot of change in my ideation of operations from the hotel world. So that really changed, and I think that should sum up my answer to that.
That's a real tribute to the father who gives you a total free hand and has confidence in you. Okay. Mr. Mrinal, given a chance, other than food, do you wish to experiment with any other different roles in tourism? And if so, what are they?
I think traveling is everything in tourism. If somebody don't travel, what's tourism? Within their bedroom or their own courtyard. So stimulating travel, that's something we all should do to get tourism really active. So people don't really like to travel. That's the truth of it. You know, traveling is bothersome. Even if you fly first class, for example, you're flying first class to where? To one of the most exotic locations in the world, south of France. You're flying Emirates or Qatar. No, there is no first class in Qatar. So Kochi, Dubai, Paris. You are taking a whatever you have, a fancy car rental. So you're still in a queue in Kochi airport to check in. Then there is security check. Then they want you to take out your laptop. They want you to do this, that. Then you rush to the airport. Then you wait there for 1.5 hours for the flight. You have the seat 1A. So you get. They announce that first class passengers, please get in. So you get in, but you have to wait for 380 other people to get in so that you can start flying. I mean, the flight can start flying. So then you go to Dubai, everything is the same. You go to the security, you go to everything, you still wait, go to Paris, then there is immigration. Then you go to the car rental desk. You have this stylish car ready, but still you have to drive, then south of France. Still, yeah, it gives you pleasure, but it's bothersome. So there should be reasons to travel. We should give people reasons to travel. You know, why should you travel? So I think I'll pursue a career in travel, and I'll give more and more fabulous, fantastic, and mind-blowing, tremendous reasons for people to travel. That's what I would do.
It's an amazing reply. Okay. It's nice to hear from a food blogger also. So one question which I pose to all 4 of viewers from Mr. Jose Dominic, who is my mentor in tourism and also who heads the vertical in tourism. He has asked, the Kerala model was a disruptive innovation. Now, COVID has disrupted the model itself. That throws up the reality of survival of the fit. For that, the advantage shifts to the adapter. Advantage to the small and nimble. Do you agree? Can we have a quick reply because we are in the last 10 minutes of the session? I think Maneesha, you go fast.
So I think Kerala is perfect for a post-COVID world, and especially smaller properties, smaller operations, because we are, of course, very agile. But also as a traveler, I mean, I don't now want to go to a really large hotel, or I don't want to go to a large conference room or things like that. So I think small is really good, and we've, places that have hired locally, sourced locally, and also when you engage with your audience and you find what they really want and you deliver those things. So I think Kerala was already on that responsible tourism path, and if we just continue on that and really think twice about, do we need another 500 room hotel, do we need large conferences, do we need all of the infrastructure that goes into that? Are people, is that what people want in this day and age, and what are the repercussions of that? So I think now all of the people that are in tourism, because there's been a standstill in tourism, a lot of that mindless investment, I think, maybe has stopped, and we will start to think about how to do it more consciously. So I think that would help Kerala, and Kerala is quite suited to that, as well as now, because people just want to go to another setting, but just have their meals cooked for them and just relax and take in nature and focus more on their health. Again, Kerala is quite suited for that, because we've got beaches, mountains, backwaters, we've got really good health. There's Ayurveda, there's naturopathy, there's many ways for this new traveler to experience. So I think Kerala is perfect.
That's true. Okay, Rashmi, faster, slightly.
Yeah, I will just share an image, and I think that image will tell it more than anything else that I can say. This is your new traveler. This is your new traveler. You do what you want. You cater to him. You focus your marketing strategies on this person. You work around these kids, and your job is done. And I like the question. I like the question from the pioneer, from the person who's pioneered tourism in Kerala. It's a brilliant question. He's probably the master of disruption himself, and that's a very brilliant question that he's put to the rest of us. And there's a little bit of what everyone says, like what Maneesha says, the small is beautiful, and that there's also the safety and comfort in small. There's safety in the warmth and the stories of the smaller properties. That said, this is your way forward. This is your person. You cater to him. You've got your solutions packed. Your marketing is done.
Mrinal?
Yeah, small is agile. Small is easier to start off with, because you don't have weight. But big can throw their own weight at something and get better results. So it's about strategy. Small or big. You may be big. You may be running 5 big hotels in the state. You may be a restaurant or a small taxi agent in Kerala, in the tourism sector. But you can't change that over 8 months' time, during COVID. You still have 5 five-star hotels. So it's about strategy. One thing I did for a client of mine in June was allowing, that was the first of its kind in the country, I think. We did it in May, I think, when things started reopening in the country. May or June, I don't remember. We started reserving floors in 5-star hotels. The floor will be entirely reserved for a marriage party. 7 days prior to the marriage, both the families can check in, groom, bride. We'll have our own jewelry in partnership with one of the biggest jewelers in the country. We'll have our own textile shop in partnership with one of the biggest textile company in the country. We'll have everything ready for the marriage, and they have their own floor for it's a Karan Johar kind of wedding, So every family, both families are there, so they can spend time there. Everything is taken care of. Food, cleaning, everything is taken care of. So after marriage, if the family wants to still stay there, they can, or the bride and groom can have a 7-day honeymoon period. So we sold that for a couple of lakhs of rupees, 8-10 lakh rupees. And if you think about Delhi, Chennai, Kolkata, or Bangalore, that's the sort of money you spend on a big wedding hall for 2 days, a night and a day for marriage. So that was a big hit. So big or small, big, you can throw your weight and get some results. Small, you're agile and nimble. So it's about strategy. I think it's not about big or small.
Okay, good. George?
I'm sorry, I was changing my audio. I missed your question. Can you just quickly repeat that?
Question was from my dad itself. The Kerala model was a disruptive innovation. Now COVID has disrupted that model itself. That throws up the reality of survival of the fit. For the advantage shifts to the adapter, advantage to the small and the nimble. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think we have to adapt in terms of, because in the industry, the market size has reduced so much. And with the whole the COVID situation, it is not for the, I mean, it's the hotels that which have to design for the safety also. So where customer perception when they want to come to a smaller hotel is what is being preferred. I mean, that's what every traveler has been saying. But then we are seeing the change. But then at the same time, to survive, we have to change strategies to look at other markets. Yes, being small is a big advantage by bringing in the right kind of clients who will respect the safety norms. And also at the same time, for us, what we realized is to survive during these times, we need to introduce new products maybe. So that's when CGH announced Bedded on Earth for the first time, where that's never thought of business that CGH would have gone into. But now we are trying to adapt how destination weddings of India can move into Kerala and do it the way that we are going to do with the CGH concepts without breaking our core values. The other funny thing that I am being in casino in Cochin, the biggest competition I feel in the food industry is not the hotels, it's not the restaurants, it's these self-made cooks from home who are making fantastic products. The amount of social media which has gone by selling home delivery food is the biggest competition for me. And I know I cannot, I mean, a hotel cannot compete because the love and passion towards a home cook is very different from a kitchen. Maybe can be argued, but then I feel that's a way where the smallest is again thriving because of the situation where they adapted and changed their normal, and they started thinking very differently, and it also pushed them to get to that level to do that. In fact, you look at the roads, it's not about home cooks, it's about all the other entrepreneurs also have started something small and providing maybe the same income or even more. A lot of our staff who's left us has gone and started their own ventures, making pickles as an entrepreneurship, or making, if you see on the road, there's always, I don't know if you've noticed, the chips and these small knickknacks have increased on the road. And they are actually, I believe they're gaining because I know personally one of our chefs who's gone out and started this pickle, and he's doing everything. I mean, the product is nice, priced well, and he's reaching out to the right customer. So, sorry, I think there was a break.
I'm just interfering because of the time up. You may have to please. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I think yes, the small will survive, and then that is with the push because of the situation is actually made us think a little differently, and there's always a way out.
Thanks a lot to the entire vibrant panel. Thank you so much for giving such fantastic insights. And there's a lot to take a cue from all of you. And it's an incredibly innovative session, which it was a pleasure sharing time with you. And I feel the bottom line is that all four of you agree to the fact that we need to reinvent. Kerala tourism need to reinvent. That's what I can grasp from as a single word from this panel discussion. Thank you so much to each one of you. Thank you so much to Mr. Jose Dominic, my mentor, for giving necessary guidance for the panel discussion with respect to the topic name and all other advices. Specific gratitude and thanks to Thai President Mr. Ajit Hari and Jacob for including the session in ThaiCon, and all necessary support to the entire Thai team which made this possible. Thank you all panelists for taking time and spending with us. Thanks a lot.